I'll just share my screen. Very good evening, everyone. Okay. This is a program that we did yesterday, right? We looked at an example of if condition. Okay, any question on this so far? No? So there are some chat messages. Just give me a second. So I'm looking through a lot of your messages, guys. Okay. So you have questions like to become a data scientist or data engineer, what is the required skills? Okay, tell me one more time, Elif. Okay, so see, I expect you to watch the video, isn't it? Instead of me repeating again, I want you to watch the video and ask me if you have any questions. Okay, I don't like question repeated. You ask me what you want, what question you have specifically. Okay, don't say repeat it. It's so easy to say repeat it. No, you ask me, I did not understand this. Why do you put condition in Elif? Ask me specific questions. Okay. So I'll answer you, Shaksham, this time, but next time onwards, I want specific questions. I don't like repeat it. I'm not a cassette player, right? That you say repeat it and I'll repeat it. You ask me specific question. I did not understand why we put condition in Elif. I don't understand why you put colon there. That question I can answer. Okay. Okay. So Sujana, right? Nalla Mili Meher Sujana. To become a data scientist, okay, or data engineer, okay, you need multiple skills. Obviously, one skill that you need is tools, right? And tool is Python, or it can be R, or it can be any other tool, right? So one skill set is the tool that you need to work with. Okay. So yes, Kushal, I'm asking the same. I'm answering the same question. Okay. Just understand. It doesn't matter whether you're technical or non-technical. Okay. If somebody is hiring, I don't care what's your background, whether you are engineering or BCom, What I need to understand is, can you do the work for me or not? Isn't it? You imagine you want to hire someone for your company. Okay. You don't care the background. What you care is that person can do the work or not, isn't it? If you're convinced that person can do the work, okay, great. Or if you're not convinced, then you will not hire, whatever the degree or qualification is, right? So the point here is the main reason that though we have so many graduates and a lot of opportunity in today's world, but we are lagging behind is because of this. The degrees in today's world is meaningless. So it does not matter what degree you have. Absolutely doesn't matter. Okay. It didn't matter 5 years, 10 years back. It doesn't matter in today's world. In today's world, it is still okay. The world has changed a lot. Okay. You might have great degrees, but if you do not have skill, nobody will hire you. You will not get job. If you do not have skill, so then you are not required by anyone. Okay. If you have skill and no degree, okay, companies will hire you. In case they don't hire you also, there are a lot of opportunities where you can work, okay, for companies outside India, okay, remotely from here. Okay. So if you have skills, you will not have a problem with the job. Okay, so it doesn't matter what's your qualification. So you said non-technical, doesn't matter. So what I'm saying, the skill set, the one thing that you need is the tool itself, right? The tool that you need to work with. So tool can be Python, can be R, depending upon what company is preferring or what is your interest area. But since Python is multi-purpose, you learn Python, you can do a lot of things. So that's why people prefer Python programming. Okay. So Python is a great tool. Apart from tool, now you need to understand the data sources, from where data is coming, how data is coming, right? Data from variety of sources. You need to be able to connect to data. So you need to understand mostly still data is stored in structured format in databases. So you need to understand database. Okay. You need to understand database, how to work with different files. Okay. So these are the things that they expect you to know, right? And in Python again, when you connect, how do you clean the data? How do you make sure, how do you get data from variety of sources and join them together as one? Okay, the various concept in under Python itself, like pandas, and for visualization, you do we do what is called as EDA. Okay, explorative data analysis. Okay, for that you need to understand the different aspects, little bit of statistics. Okay, what kind of graph you need? What do you read from the graph? What are the different metric? What does mean, median mean? How does how do you interpret the data when you know mean, median, standard deviation? Okay, so we have read mean, median, standard deviation. You all must have done it. You all know the formula. But what is the significance? Okay, what does, when I say I have a data with a standard deviation of 10, what does that mean? Okay, what is that? How is that helpful for the business, right? That is not important. That is very important, and which is not taught in the class. We are taught to remember the formula, but not the significance. Okay, the practical usage is missing in our college education, and that's where institute like us. Now, we are not the only institute. There are many other institute like us, but what we do is we take care of you. Okay, we take care of every aspect that is required by the job market and prepare you for the same, right? We have experts who understands what is happening in the market, and those skill set is given to you, right? So it doesn't really matter what the background is. If you are ready to dedicate yourself, okay, for this new skill, okay, you can do you can do well. So I hope I answered Sujana and also Kaushal. Okay. And yeah, I mean, these questions, very specific questions, you can talk to our team. They'll help you, right? I'm sure there are many people waiting for us to get on with Python. So we will get on with Python. But just to answer in short, and very specific questions, you can ask our team. They will answer you. If not, they'll connect to the expert and they will answer you. Okay, you'll have the answer. But as I said, skills, And today's world, see, there are a lot of you know with so many institutes, so many websites, so many um, educational portals, right? Learning anything is not difficult. Okay, what you need is commitment from you and a mentor who can help you guide through or tell you what is right, what is wrong, okay, where you should focus, how to filter the right data from all those things. So data is information is available, but what is right for you, you may not know in the first go itself, right? That's where you need someone who's, who has been there, done that, kind of who can guide you. Okay. And commitment. Okay. Nothing can replace commitment and hard work from your side, no matter what your age is. You may be 20s, you may be in 30s, you may be in 40s. If you have commitment, you can do it. If you do not have commitment, then nobody can help you. Okay, perfect. Let's get started. So yes, so yesterday we discussed about if-else conditions. Okay, and there was a question on repeating elif. So I don't know why you have questioned out on elif. See, what I said is, if you have two conditions, like see here, if you see this example 133 and 145, okay, I'm checking average greater than 50. Average greater than 50 or not. Simple. Two conditions. Average greater than 50 and average not greater than 50. So if average is greater than 50, then everything from 134 to 144 will be executed. Okay. And else part will not be even touched upon if your average is more than 50. If average is not more than 50, if your average is not more than 50, then none of these will be executed and you straight away come to else part. Okay, the else part will be executed. So this is case when you have two conditions to look for, if and else. If is you have a condition, and else is that you do not have a condition, but it's a default one. If is false, else will definitely 100% execute. And if is true, okay, then if will get executed and 100% else will not get executed. Okay, in a block, okay, in a if else block, only one condition will get executed. Same thing happens when you have more than two conditions to look at. When you have two conditions, like for example here inside, you see here we have four conditions to look at. Okay, average more than 85, average more than 70, average more than 60, and else. So here, okay, more than two conditions, then we have to use something called as elif in between. Elif is like else if. Okay, so you have um, uh, okay, so you have like one main condition if here 85. Okay, okay, and this is the first condition which will be searched. Now, if this is false, okay, if this does not execute, then it will go and check for this condition. And if this is also false, it will go and check here. If this is also false, it will come here. And if this is false, then else will get executed. Okay. So instead of checking just one if, you are checking multiple if and in the same order. That is the significance of elif. I hope I answered. There's a question on, wanted me to repeat elif. Okay. Saksham Chandra. I hope I answered your question. So elif is like when you have to give more conditions. Okay, if else will have only two conditions. If you want to add more condition, so then you add elif in between. So right, in this case, we are checking for two additional conditions for more than 70 and more than 60. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so yes, we'll get started for day 4, guys. Welcome. And today we'll talk about, okay, new concept, okay, loops. Now, loops is a way to repeat certain certain block of code more than once. Okay, so if I want to repeat, I want to say hello 10 times. right? Print hello 10 times. Now, one option is you copy and paste hello 10 times, paste, 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 right? But that's not the best way to do, right? Best way is that you use some kind of logic which will make Python repeat it 10 times instead of we doing it 10 times. Okay? So what is that is, what do we require here? Okay? So in this case, okay, there are two ways to do loops. Loops, that is repetition. Two ways to do it. One is your for loop, and other is while loop. Okay. For loop is used when you know exactly how many times to run. While is when you don't know how many times, but you have some idea. Okay. If you keep users, if user says yes, okay, that means it is more like user based. Okay. So it's a condition based. Repetition, I hope the spelling is correct. Okay, so you repeat it based on some condition. So initially when you start, you may not know how many times you will do. So you'll ask the user, do you want to continue? User says yes, then you will continue. Again you'll ask, do you want to continue? Yes. So okay, so it could be 0 time. User says no, sorry, I don't want to continue. Possible. Okay, then you don't do it. Or user says 1 time, user says 3 times, 10 times, right? So initially when you start with, you don't have any idea. And when you start, that's when, okay, you start getting to know about the number of times to run. So this is what we say, while condition. Okay, so we have two ways to, implement loops in Python. One way is using for loop, another way is using while loop. Okay, but before I get into for loop and while loop, we need to understand one more function called as range. Okay, we have done few functions like print, input. We'll look at one more function called range. Okay, and let's see what range does. Okay, see, the range will generate a range of values for you. Okay, so range will generate range of values for you. Okay, so how does it generate? So if I tell you to generate numbers for me, I need to give you some formula, right? And to give you some guidance. Okay, start from 0 and increase each value by 2 and print up to 10, right? So your range function takes that formula. We need to tell, okay, we need to give formula to the range. So range as a function will accept 3 values. Okay, first value is what we say as start value, then the end value, and then the increment value. Okay, so start could be like, say, 5. So if I say 5, okay, that means you need to start counting from 5. Okay, go all the way up to 15. So if I say 15, so if I say here range 5 comma 15 comma say 3, that means I'm saying start from 5. Okay, go all the way up to 15. So mark my word here, up to 15, not including 15. It is always less than. It is never equal to in range, and most of the other cases when we are doing this number generation, the ending value is always, always, always less than. Remember that. It is never equal to. Okay, so if I say 15, okay, it is going to be up to 14 or 13 or 12, but never 15. Makes sense? It can be 12, 13, 14, but never 15. Okay, remember this, never 15, never 15. Okay, so increment is 3. That means I told you this will generate values. Start value 5. Next is 5 plus 3, 8. 5 plus 3, 8. Then 8 plus 3, 11. Okay. What was the next value, guys? Tell me. Put your answer in the chat. What was the next value? These are the values that range will generate for us. Okay, I'm getting some answers. Okay, everybody is getting right. Yes. So yes, it is going to be 14. Yes, right. Okay. All of you have got it right. Amazing. Okay. Yes. So it is 14. Then next value after 14. What do we get after 14? Okay, what do we get after 14? Okay, I can see good answers. Yes. So you're right. Okay. This is not going to generate. Okay, no, Vishal, it's not going to give you 17. Okay, because 17 is more than 15. Okay, the maximum value that you can have is 15. So 17 will not be generated, Vishal. Okay, and I can see others are saying the correct answers. Loop will stop. Your range will stop. So range will only give you these values. Range will only give you these values, which are 5, 8, 11, 14. Okay, perfect. So these are the output from the range. Now, range can also take just two values. Okay, first example that we saw range, okay, start and increment is taking three values. Start value, end value, and increment. Okay, now your range may not take three values. Sometimes your range will only have two values. Okay, which are the two values? It will only have start and end, no increment. Okay, so when you see range with just two values, it means they are giving us start and end, no increment. And when you don't have increment, then it means it's a default increment of 1. Default increment of 1. So now if I say range 5 comma 10, okay, tell me what are the values that will generate? Come on, answer me in the chat. What are the values that it will generate? Range 5. So size is 5. Yes, 5. Then okay. So Sujna says 6. Okay. So most of you are getting it wrong. Okay. Crystal, how will you get 2, yeah? You will never get 2. Okay. Starting value itself is 5. So how can you say 2? Okay. So yes, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Most of you are saying 10. Okay. No, 10 is wrong answer. Okay, I'm getting correct answer also. But most of you are saying 10. No, it is not 10. How can you get 10? I told you it is always up to. Okay, no, it is less than. Okay, so only Payal and Sai got it right. It is always, I told you, it is up to. Okay, it is not less, equal to. It is always less than the end value. Okay, always it is less than the end value. Remember this. Okay, the ending value is never equal to. Okay, so it is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no 10. Okay, remember. Okay, you can also have range with just one value. So if you have three values, you know that all three values are given. Okay, it is your start and an increment. When two values are given, we know that increment is default 1. Increment is not given, and we have to assume increment as 1. When you have only range one value, it is end. Okay, your start is 0 and increment equal to 1. So when you have only one value, okay, the start is 0. In Python, counting starts from 0. In Python, counting starts from 0. In Python, counting starts from 0. Since Python counting starts from 0, that's why it is 1 less than the maximum value. If you say 10, it should print only up to 9. Okay, so that's why it is less than, not less than equal to. It is always less than. Okay, so if I have a function range of 4, tell me what values will it generate? Okay, Sai, yes, 0, Kanishk 1, Payal 2, what else? Sujna 3, what else? Okay, okay. Now everybody is getting yes. Okay, you're right. I have not seen any wrong answer so far. Yes, this is the end. Okay, it will not come 4. Right, everybody got it right. So good. I'm happy. Okay, ending value is always less than, not equal to yes. So range 4 will generate value from 0 because default start when not given is 0. Default increment when not given is 1. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on. But ending number is 4. So we should stop at 3 itself. We should stop at 3 itself. Okay, great. So now we will see how to use this range in our for loop. Okay, so for loop works with range, and we will see how for loop works with range. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see an example. So I'm going to generate a hello 5 times. So let me print hello 5 times, right? So I'll say print hello, okay, in quotation, hello. And to make it print 5 times, I'll say for I in range 5. Okay. Now look at these values here. Each of them are different. Since I know how many times to execute, I'm going to use the loop using for loop. For loop is used when you know exactly how many times to run, right? So I'm going to use for loop. Great. Now for loop counting starts from the loop starts with for. Okay, so counting we'll see later, but to indicate it's a for loop, you have to start with for. So that's why first word that you see is for. First word is for because this is where we want to start with. Great. Now after for comes I. See, if I tell you do it something 5 times, do it something 10 times, 12 times, you'll have a variable which will count, isn't it? How will you know that you have completed 10 times, right? You need to count it. That is what I is doing. I is like a counter. It is counting for us. Okay. It is counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4. Because I told you 5 times, right? So 5 times means I will say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So I is the counter. But how will I count? How will I know from where to start, where to end? That's where range. So range, we know that when you say range of 5, the counting starts from 0, value starts from 0, 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and 4. So I in range is like for is forcing I to take value from range. That's why you have I in. In is another operator. Okay. In is like another operator. Range is another function. I is a counter. For is a command. So they are using 4 different things for loop. In Python and in Java and C++, Okay, for loop is one single logic. Okay, for loop is one single logic, but Python, no. Okay, it's all different. We are taking, okay, a different things and putting them together. So today we'll see only one, but as we go along, right, when we talk about string, list, we'll see more such ways of using for loop. Okay, but for now, for today and tomorrow, we'll only work on range. Okay, and other method we'll see later. So range will generate values. I is taking the value from range and putting into I. For is making I take one value at a time. So first I becomes 0, and I have to say print is part of for loop, just like we did for if else. To indicate that print is part of for loop, you have to push it inside. You have to push it inside for loop. That means for loop print is part of for loop. Okay. So now you run it and you see. So this hello is different. Capital hello is different. No, it's point to different file. Run 4. Okay, so this is different hello. Now you see this hello is 5 times, isn't it? And if you want to know the values generated by range, you can print I also, right? When you print I, you see first iteration I is taking 0, second iteration I is taking 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is how I is taking different values. Okay, so this is how range works with for loop in Python and helps us to repeat certain block of code more than once. Okay, now I want to I want to print numbers from 1 to 100, let's say. I want to print number from 1 to 100. So what I'll do, I'll say for I in range 1 to 100. So I'll start from 1, go up to 101. And I don't have to give increment because when I don't give increment, default increment is 1 only, right? So I want 1, 2, 3, 4. So you will get 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now colon, and you say print I. Now when you say print I, you run it. Okay. You see, starting value is here 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 40, 50, 90. See, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Okay, so this is how you can generate values from 1 to 100. Just 2 line and values got printed. Okay, I want to print these values in one single line. I don't want to print in different line. Print will always print in new line. Okay, I want to print it in new line, same line. So remember, okay, in Python, print has invisible new line at end of every print. End of every print, okay, end of every print, okay, you have a new line, okay, of course, which we can't control, correct? Now, what do we do then? Okay, so we need to make that invisible visible. Okay, we want to what? So what I'm saying is your print had invisible new line. Every time you do print, it prints in new line only in Python. Okay, those who have done programming in other languages would know that in C, C++, Java, you will have to give system ln, right, or /n to give to new line. But here you don't have to give to new line. So 90% of the time it works. Okay, 90% of the time you may not want to give say new line, but there may be some 10% or maybe 1% where you may not want it the new line. Okay, if you do not want new line, then what do we do? Okay, so the invisible new line what is there needs to be made visible and deleted, right? I can't delete something which is invisible. New line is invisible, I can't delete it, so I have to make it visible first. Once I make it visible, I can delete it, right? So I'll make it visible and then I'll delete it. So how do we make it visible? We have a command called end equal to. Now end equal to /n. This is there by default. This is there by default with every print. This print has it, this print has it, this print has it. All print has this by default. Okay, so when you do it, this is what is there. Now I do not want new line. I will say comma and space. So since we said comma and space, see it printed in same line. Yes, this is how you can print information in same line. Okay, multiple print which will do in different line. Technically you can club them to print in one single line. Whatever you give an end, you get it. If you give comma, you get comma. If you do not give anything, you don't get anything. If you give hyphen, you get hyphen. Okay, Payal? Yes. So now let's talk about, okay, so before I do this, I need to give print here because last line 100 comma is also there at the end. So we need to come down, right? So that's why I said blank print, so that we come down, okay, to the next line. Okay. Now I want to print, okay, values 2468 up to 100. 2468 up to 100. So what I'll do, I will say 2 increment 2, right, 101. So now you see you get 2468 up to 100, correct? Up to 100, 9800, right? Great. Now I want to print first 100 odd numbers. I want to print first 100 odd numbers. Then what do I do? So in this case, I cannot manipulate I because I is a counter. I will count 1, 2, 3, 4. So first 100 means for I in range 100. Okay, so this is how I'm going to manage first 100. Now, I need to have a different variable. So I will say num equal to 1. I have a different variable num equal to 1, which we will change and get the odd number. So I'm going to say here print num. After printing num, we have to increase the value of num, isn't it? So num equal to num plus 2, right? Num equal to num plus 2. Or you can put this in a short form, which is num plus equal to 2. Okay. So now when you run it, you get up to 199. So 1357. Okay. So 1357911. So when you start from 1, the 100th odd number will be 199. 100th odd number will be 199. Okay. So this is how you can get first 100 odd numbers. Listen to the questions properly, Sai Teja. Okay. I want first 100 odd numbers, not up to 100. So I need something to calculate count also and print also. Okay. So now let's say, okay, I want to find sum and average of a student marks obtained in 5 subject. Okay, obtained in 5 subject. So I will ask the user to enter 5 values. Okay, so I'll do this. I'll say for I in range 5. Okay, and now I will say marks equal to input marks, enter marks. Okay, now this is how you read value from the user. I want to read values from the user. Okay, see, we have been using direct values, but in reality, except constants, no other values will give directly, because variables mean the value should change and the user will give the values, not we. As a programmer, we don't give. Okay, if you want to book a flight ticket, okay, every user will be able to give the from, destination, right, and the date of travel, etc. Right? You cannot have fixed ticket. You log in and you get only ticket from city A to city B. No, that's not the case. Okay, you need to give those values, and the ticket that you book has to be based on that. So this is what here input is doing. Input will read the value from the user. Okay, so before we do range, let me do this and show you. If I say marks equal to enter marks, okay, so input will accept only one text value. Unlike print, where you can give multiple parameters, input accepts 0 or at max 1. Sometimes it may not, you don't have to give also. So it will work where you don't give any text, or you can give a text, enter marks or enter whatever, right? And see, when you run it, see, our program did not finish. It is still running. It is waiting for us to give marks. So when you say input, input is like, okay, give me the value now. Give me the value, give me the value. Okay. So I say enter marks 66 and hit enter. So input has taken mark 66 and marks gets the value 66. Whatever we enter, okay, yes, it can take any value. It can take minus, plus, 0, integer, boolean, complex. Input is the only way you can read. Just like print is the only way to print onto the screen, input is the only way to provide the value. Okay, so whatever value you want to give to the user, okay, sometimes you give table also. Okay, so table also you have to give like this only. Okay, no other option. You have to give in this format only. Okay, so input marks. Okay, so okay, so you say enter marks, right? Enter marks. Now, so if you want to see if the marks value is 66 or not, let's print it and see. So I'm going to say print marks equal to, you say marks, right? Now you want to see the type of marks. What data type is it? So you use function called type. Sorry. So you are using function type. Type will tell us what data type it is. Okay. So now let's run the same program again. And I'm going to say enter marks 66. So marks is 66, perfect. But you see this data type is string. Yes. Okay. So marks, the data type of marks is string. I don't know why you are saying Toshita 2 times print, 2 times print. I don't understand. Okay, please mention the line number also. I will know. No, if you say two, we have done 100 print here. Which print you're talking about? So when you ask question, please mention what you are asking. So why 2 times print? You tell me why line number 19 and 51 print, right? Then I'll be able to answer you. Okay. So enter marks. Okay. So we enter the marks. Okay. So marks is 66. It has read 66. But you see the data type of input marks is 66 is string. I mean, how can it be string, right? We entered 66. So why can't 66 be string, right? It can be string, right? So I told you input is the only way to read a value. Okay. Python will not understand. Python will not know what is your intention, right? My intention here is here to give an integer input. But how will Python know that you want to give integer input? Right? Python will not know. If Python doesn't know, right? If Python doesn't know, then it's a problem. So what Python says is, okay, since you are inputting a value, since every value can be read as string. So remember this. Since every value can be read as string, you can read integer also as string, boolean also as string, float also as string, right? But vice versa is not true. I mean, you can't read string as number. Hello cannot be read as number, but 66 can be read as string. So what Python says is, okay, since I will not know what you are trying to enter, I will read that as string. Since everything can be read as string, I will read your input also as string. If you want to make it integer, if you want to make it float, if you want to make it boolean or complex, after you read the value, you can change it to whatever type you want to. So after I read this, I can say now marks equal to int of marks. Okay, now when you run it, you see, if I give 66, you get class int. So it's saying after you read the value, you change it the way you want to change it. I want to change it as a integer. Very well, change it as integer. Nobody will stop you. Okay, as long as you can change it. Like if I give hello, and if you want to change it as hello, you can't change it. Okay, hello cannot be converted into integer, so you get error. So I don't know, Ronish, why you're asking that question. Where are we declaring here? Please be with me, okay? I'm talking about Python. Did you ever see me declaring as integer? No, we just directly assign value in Python. We do not declare integer or float in Python. We do not use it. Okay, you can use variable 1 to store hello. You can use same variable. I can use variable 1 to store hello, and same variable 1 I can use it to read a boolean. If I print var1 here, you get var1 hello, and if you print here, okay, you get true. I mean, sorry, var1, right? Okay, see this. Enter marks, I enter 1. Oops, I didn't mean to enter quotation. So see, it printed hello and true. Same var. You can use variable for any value. There is no concept of okay declaring a data type. Python does not allow, does not need to declare a data type. So you please concentrate on the programming which we are doing. Okay. If you miss, you will miss it. Okay. Coming back here, the data type has to be assigned specifically. If you want it to be in string, if you're reading a string value, then it's fine. You don't have to change it. But if you are not, you will have to change it to integer or float or whichever data type that you want data to be in. Did you understand, Ronish? Ronish Ranjan Yadav. Perfect. Okay. So this is how you read values. So now what we'll do is we'll go back to our program, original program. What was our intention? I'm going to move this away and put it to this doc here. Okay. So we were trying to read marks of 5 subject and print total and average, right? So I'll say, okay, please talk to these questions I can't answer, no? Shiva Koti Reddy, Palagiri Shiva Koti Reddy, I can't answer this question. Please talk to the coordinator. You have a coordinator, right? Then why don't you talk to them? Okay. So I'm here to teach Python. So ask me question about Python only. Right? Shiva Koti. Okay. So how to find marks of 5 subjects? Okay. So from the student, right? From the user I want. So what I'll do, since I need 5, I'll run a loop first for I in range 5. Okay. I'll range 5. So I'll say 5. Great. Now, how do I read input value? Yes, you read input value using marks equal to input of enter marks. Perfect. Now, this is string. We know that. So we need to convert this into int. Okay. This is also fine. Right. Now, if you run this in a loop, what happens? Marks will be updated, isn't it? Okay. Now it has one value, then it will have another value, right? So every time you run a loop, okay, whenever there is a loop, the value will get overwritten with a new value, isn't it? Value will be overwritten with a new value. So what I'll do, I will save it before I will save it before it changes. I will save it before it changes, isn't it? So for example, I need sum, so I will say sum equal to 0. And now I'm saying sum equal to sum plus marks. Because when you run the second loop, this marks will again read a new value. When marks reads a new value, old value is updated, isn't it? Old value is updated, correct? So the old value will be lost. So instead what I'll do is I'll declare sum equal to 0, and in the loop I'm going to say sum equal to sum plus marks. So sum equal to 0 plus marks, 0 plus 66. So now sum becomes 66. Next time I'm going to do 66 plus next value, that's 76. So 66 plus 76 is 142, correct? So now next time sum becomes 142 and he'll say 142 plus next 86. So keep on doing and sum will update, keep updating itself. And when you are out of the loop, okay, you will have new sum value, right? So if you run it, Let's say I give 55, 55, 66, 67, 76. So you see, you're getting 319. I hope it is 319. 110. Then you have 190. Okay. Then, okay. Almost 319. Yes. So it is 39. Correct answer. So because loop is going to refresh the values, loop is going to, change the old value to new value. Since loop is going to change the old value to new value, we need to catch it. We need to use it before it changes. We need to use it before it changes, isn't it? So before it changes, okay, you capture it. So you're capturing it as sum. Okay, because our intention is to find sum, right? So yeah. When we do list later, you can even save as, okay, you can save as, okay, before, you can save as new values. But here we cannot save as new values because it is getting overwritten. Make sense, guys? So this is how you use loop to read values. Any questions? Okay, ask me questions which are here and we can. Okay, so Toshita says why to print. Okay, now you're giving me yes. So second print is to change line. Print blank means what? It will print a blank, it will print a new line. I want to change to new line, Toshita. That's why I did print, second print. Second print is to change to the new line. Yes? So I changed to new line. Did you understand now? Okay. And see, ask me questions in the webinar chat, not Q&A, because chat is open in front of me. I can live track all your messages. Q&A, I'm not moderating, so I will not be able to know when you post. I can see it, but my focus is on the screen, right? So I won't be able to see your messages on Q&A. So you post your message in the chat, and chat, I can see the live chat and I can respond live. Okay. Don't use Q&A until you have to ask a question. So Shiva, questions like you want the video, these things can be posted on Q&A, team will respond. Okay. And see, when I'm talking about something, right, if you ask question in between, again, I don't want to lose that track. So I'll finish off logically and then I will answer your questions. What if I give marks equal to int marks? Okay, you can do that, absolutely no problem. And that's what I'm Payal saying, if you don't give, how can you add? So you're not going to get as a number, you're getting as a string, right? So you want the marks to be as integer or string. Marks has to be integer, right, Payal? Then I showed you that if you do not do it, it is string, right? So it is like string. So operations which are available on string will be applied. So operations available for string is concatenation. So concatenation you can do. Okay. We will discuss, we'll spend one full day on string. You can see the different operations. Those operations are only allowed on string. Okay. And if you talk about numbers, we have done, right? We have done plus, minus. Those are allowed only on numeric, not on string. Okay, Payal. Yes. So if you want it to act like a number, you have to declare it like a number. If you want to act like a string, then you leave it like that. Okay. So next question is, Praveen, why do you need this type of mathematics structure on program? I didn't understand your question. Why we need this type mathematics structure on program? Which type of mathematics structure, Praveen Kumar? Okay, I didn't understand. We need this type of mathematics structure. I don't know which mathematics structure you're talking about. But program, we are doing mathematics only, no? We are doing sum of values, average of values. If you want to find average, you say comma, average equal to sum by 5, correct? And when you run it, you get 45, 69, 90, 89, 75. You get average 73.6. Okay. If you want, enter marks here. So enter marks in subject. In subject, and I want to give 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I want to give enter marks subject 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 is integer. You can't add a string and integer. You can concatenate two string, or you can add two numbers. Here I need to concatenate. Concatenate means join. So I'm going to say enter marks in subject, close, plus str of I plus 1. I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll say I plus 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. str of this. Okay. And you say plus here in quotation. So this is one string, this is another string, and this is another string. So all three strings will be put together. You can add, when you add two strings together, it will perform concatenation. It performs concatenation. So now when you run it, okay, it says enter marks in subject 1. Okay. So now you know that, okay, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, subject 4, subject 5. So average and sum. Right? Any other question, guys? Okay. If not, we'll end it here, guys. Okay. And we will see you tomorrow. We'll do while loop. We'll do some examples, basic example like this. And then once we are done, we will take some 2, 3 good examples using while, for, and conditions. Okay. So I'm hoping that if not tomorrow, maybe tomorrow or day after, we should be able to wrap up our loop program. And then we'll get into strings. Is that fine, everyone, with me? Yes. Thank you again, and bye. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.